This is my 2003 Nissan Maxima daily driver now. I had a 2019 Hyundai Veloster and it was just too small, really. It drove really nice, but it was just too small. And when my grandma passed away, then she ended up leaving me her car. And this one is a 4-door. It's got a big trunk, and it's just so much better for driving in general. Still gets good gas mileage and everything. When I first got it, it ended up having quite a lot of problems. I've replaced lots of things. Ended up done all 6 coil packs now. The battery was toast when I got it, wouldn't hardly even turn over. I've replaced all of the vacuum stuff. That's new, that's new. When I was replacing some of the things, I ended up touching the throttle body, the butterflies on it, which you should not do because that will mess them up on these cars. I'm used to non-electronic throttle bodies, so when I touched it, then it messed it all up, so I ended up having to buy a new throttle body. But instead of getting like a OEM one, which is a 80 millimeter, I ended up getting a 85 millimeter NWP adapter, and then it's a 85 millimeter throttle body. So in theory, it makes it faster, which mainly it was like $200 instead of $600 for an OEM one. So that was a big plus. So that's new. And it runs really good now, but also did cam position sensor, and I got a new mass airflow sensor from AutoZone, but the one that I ended up getting, there's a resistor that's supposed to be on it, which it didn't have. So when I replaced it, then it stopped working, and I was still having issues with the coil packs because I hadn't replaced all of them yet. And as it turned out, I should have replaced all 6 of them, but they're $120 each times 6. So that equals a lot of doll hairs. So it was hard to justify doing all of that at once when I didn't know if the car was even going to run right. Because when I first got it, then as it turned out, the back valve cover was leaking. It's this one on the back side was leaking, and it had oil in the cylinder, like completely full. So I ended up having to replace that, and once I replaced that, then it was still having issues, which it ended up pretty much all the coil packs were bad, and one of them was grounding out on the side of the metal tube for the spark plug, and it's just, they all needed to be replaced, but it was a lot of money all at once on a car I didn't know if it was even going to run again. So, but luckily I continued to throw money at it pretty much, and now it works fine. But also did like the ground wire and cleaned up all the grounds on it to try and make it run better, and we're pretty much just chasing problems until finally I got a code reader. And then once I got the code reader, then I could clear the codes, and I was having an issue where when I would drive, then it would only go to 2,500 RPM, and then it would cut out, and it was hitting it like make the engine stop revving. And until I got the code reader, that I couldn't clear the code to make it go past that RPM. And once I got it past that RPM, then the individual coil packs ended up messing up. So then it flagged the cylinder number 2, and then once I replaced that coil pack, then it's flagged cylinder number 3, and then once I replaced that coil pack, then it ran perfect. So I'd been chasing issues, and so moral of the story is buy a code reader if you're trying to work on any kind of modern car. Just get a code reader, because I was going to O'Reilly's and having them read them, and it just was not working. And they'd read the codes, but it wouldn't translate to where I could actually fix the issues, because they were telling me different things. So once I got my own code reader, then I could actually diagnose the issue and fix it. But now I've got one more coil pack to replace, so let's get to it. Once I actually got the car running good, then I ended up started in on the interior, and I got a hold of my buddy Jeff at a place called Amazon and got these seat covers, but I just did the bottom ones because the rest of it was still good. And it's got these pockets, which are basically useless because then it ends up hitting your leg. Like if you put anything in it, then it's just gonna hit your leg, which is not very fun while you're driving. And I got the rubber floor mats. And then I was gonna replace the radio, but I ended up finding this Bluetooth unit that goes with the factory radio, which it has the nice tape player, which is pretty much useless. But now that I got that, then I can actually play Bluetooth with my phone and listen to Spotify, so that's pretty nice. Got the rubber floor mats for the back, some nice Kleenexes, little pillow slash blanket. And then the trunk on this thing is pretty huge. My Veloster definitely was not very big. And when I first got it, then it's got the spare tire under here, and it had water in it. And I guess right here, then it was leaking. So I ended up having to put this tape and then use some nice Flex Seal and sealed it up. I got this little organizer thing, but so far so good. It's not leaking water anymore. That was quite a surprise when I opened up to look at the spare tire, and then it was just full of water for no apparent reason. So that was pretty cool, but it seems to be keeping the water out now. That was an issue I'd never anticipated being a thing, but it is what it is when you're driving old cars. So next on the list is new suspension. I was thinking about doing like a coilover setup, but that's kind of ridiculous on a car like this. So I'm just gonna do factory suspension, but I got KYBs and just gonna leave the stock springs. I thought about lowering it, but that's also kind of ridiculous on a car like this. So I'll just leave it monster truck height. And the wheels are pretty small, but they technically work just fine. So I'll probably end up doing new tires at some point, but other than that, probably just leave it stock. Might end up painting the wheels black, but other than that, then hopefully I'm done with it and not gonna have to replace anything else. But so far so good.